Toby Keith. What more can be said about him? Accomplished singer, accomplished actor. He even won an Oscar for his movie Beer for My Horses. Well, if he didn't, he should have, because that is the greatest movie that was ever made about beer and horses. Well, he was also in the wrestling ring for a little while in TNA back in 2002. I think we all remember him in WWE as special guest host of Monday Night Raw back in 2010. Though, when he received a belt from the Bella Twins and helped Santino Marella lose a match. But in 2002, he was in TNA's first show. He came out and did his song courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue when Jeff Jarrett came out mid song, mid lyric, and shoved Toby Keith, and then they had words. Later in the Gauntlet for the Gold match, which Jeff Jarrett was out wrestling in and fighting Scott Hall in, Toby Keith came out with his signature red bandana and hit Jeff Jarrett with a delayed vertical suplex and then helped Scott Hall eliminate Jeff Jarrett in the match. A match with which Ken Shamrock later won, winning him the NWA World title. Now, of course, this was back when TNA was part of NWA, and they won the world title. This is also back when TNA shows were pay-per-view shows. Before they had a TV contract, they were pay-per-view shows that you had to buy every week. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Gauntlet for the Gold match is, it is like a Royal Rumble, except at the end, the last standing two people have a singles match. The very next week on TNA, or the very next show on TNA, because it wasn't a weekly show, it was, as I said before, it was a pay-per-view show. It wasn't once a month, it varied, because at one point it was weekly. Later on, at one point it was monthly. I'm not sure what it was at this point. I could not get that much information on it. But the next show, Toby Keith once again came out with Scott Hall during Jarrett's match. This time, supposedly, he turned down a White House appearance to come out at this show and came out to help Scott Hall once again beat Jeff Jarrett. This was during his brief feud with Jeff Jarrett to help Scott Hall once again beat Jeff Jarrett in his match, ending his feud with Jeff Jarrett and ending his time in TNA. Proving that Toby Keith is undefeatable in wrestling, just as he was undefeatable in life and undefeatable in music, though he hadn't had a hit song in a few years. He was an accomplished wrestler. He was an accomplished athlete. He was an accomplished musician. He was an accomplished actor. As I said, he won that Oscar for Beer for My Horses. Great movie. Go see it. I really like that song he did, Weed with Willie. That was a great song. R.I.P. Toby Keith. You will always be remembered by us. You'll always be remembered for that Oscar you won for Beer for My Horses. Next week, I don't know what we're talking about.